Hey everyone, welcome to Gear Talk episode 134. Gear Talk is the show that we do every other week, and it has been every other week, where we talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. If you know the difference between a 58mm rounded and a 58mm face profile and a 58mm square profile, and that those are different wheel profiles, you probably want to use the face profile if you're skating flat. You probably want to use the rounded profile if you're skating anti-rocker. I don't know anybody that wants to use the square profile, but some people do. It's a weird profile. I don't know why anybody made it, but just wheel bite city to me. If you understand the differences and the nuances between 58mm wheel profiles, or would you like to learn? You've come to the right place. Gear Talk is the show that we do live on YouTube every other Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. I love doing this show live because it gives me an opportunity to break up my week, do a very great job, but a very not super exciting job as my day job. So for me, talking about rollerblading in the middle of the week is a great way to break up the monotony, get myself back into the groove before I get to skate over the weekend. I hope that you are in the same mindset, working hard through the week so that you can skate on the weekends. If this is you, we would love to see you in the live stream. We do this live, and we have a chat where you can talk with other rollerbladers. If you've got questions, this is a great place to ask them. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading so that I can see them. That will show up in orange. If you are not able to find the answer on the internet, if you haven't been able to use ChatGPT to get the information about why your wheels are clicking when you skate and you turn, silly things like that are a great example of stuff that we're able to address here on Gear Talk. If I can't do it, the chat can do it. And if you can't get either of them, leave a comment in the video. I answer all of my comments. I read all of my comments. I answer any of the questions. So if you've got a question, it's another great way to get a hold of me. Before we get started, I want to thank my friends over at the Helmet Initiative. We've been doing this for about 3 years now, and it is the project that I'm probably most proud of. We've put in dozen helmets on people's heads, and that makes me feel good because there's nothing better than knowing that if somebody's going to fall down and hit their head, they have a helmet on so that they can have a little bit of padding to keep you from getting a traumatic brain injury. I've had way too many friends hit their heads and end up in the hospital, end up in a coma, end up with traumatic brain injuries. It happens to everybody out there. If you've gotten a concussion, it's probably something that you could have avoided if you had a helmet on. Now, obviously, if you were getting hit playing football or something like that, you might get a concussion that way. That's one of those sports that you get regardless of what sort of helmet you're wearing. But if you're rollerblading, a good way to avoid that is just wear a helmet when you go out and skate. I wear a helmet every time I skate. It is a certified 888 sweat saver. I don't love the helmet, but I've gotten used to it, and it is a trade-off that I'm willing to deal with in order to protect my head. If this sounds great, if you are skating and you would love a helmet and you'd say, oh, but I can't afford a helmet right now, times are tough. I got to buy bread and milk because of the snowstorm. Let us know. Go to backtoblading.com/helmet. Backtoblading.com/helmet is the place to go if you are interested in a helmet. We give away a helmet for every episode of Gear Talk, and I love doing this. There are people out there, you might be one of them, who maybe don't have the extra money to buy a helmet right now, but want to rollerblade and want to be protected when you do so. The Helmet Initiative is a great organization that gives us helmets to give away. And I'm very proud to be able to give those away. So we give away a helmet for every episode. Backtoblading.com/helmet to put your information in. We don't spam you. We delete your email address after this, but we need a way to contact you. If you are in the US, I will send you a sizing chart, and I will say, what helmet would you like? What size would you like? These are the ones that I have in stock. And if I don't have one in stock in your size, then I will find a helmet and I will send it to you. But usually I have a helmet in stock. I'm able to mail it out to you so that you can get the helmet within a couple of days. If you are outside of the US, instead of mailing a helmet, mailing a helmet outside of the US costs $20-$30. Helmets usually cost $50 or $60, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense financially for me to mail a helmet to somebody. Rather than do that, we want to send you some money. So make sure that you have a PayPal account. or a way that I can send you money digitally. Outside of the US, we will send you $50 US, so whatever that works out to in your currency is fine by me. If you can buy a helmet, and some bearings, or 2 helmets and get your friend a helmet, that's great. Support your local shop. It doesn't have to be a skate shop, but find a place that you can buy a helmet. This is an honor system, but it's something that I love to do because I want to contribute back to rollerblading. And if there's a way that we can get more people to skate with helmets, I am here for it. The way that we get the money for the helmet giveaway, we get some helmets from the Helmet Initiative, which is a great way to send a helmet out, but that still includes shipping. It's about $12, $13 in order for us to ship a helmet. Or if you're outside of the US, we send you money so that you buy yourself a helmet. 2 ways we do that. First is we run ads on the YouTube. So whenever you watch our YouTube videos, you might see an ad pop up. That's just the way YouTube is. If you have the YouTube Premium or whatever it's called nowadays, you won't see ads, but know that you are watching our videos, and by watching a video and having YouTube Premium, we get a little bit of money for all the ads that you are not watching. So that pays a little bit. And then also we have a Patreon. Patreon.com/backtoblading is the place to go if you want more information about that. It's a good place to just give a couple of bucks a month so that we can keep the lights on here at Back to Blading and that we can do the Helmet Initiative. We don't do a lot of exclusive content. You won't get a lot of updates on the Patreon. This is really just a way for us to get some money so that we can have our helmet giveaway. Don't expect a bunch of exclusive videos or things like that on the Patreon. We do have some stuff that we put up there, but it's not consistent, and I will not guarantee that it'll happen. Really, it's just a place if you've got a couple of bucks a month that you want to throw our way so that we can keep giving helmets to people. That is a great way to do that. Backtoblading.com/helmet is the place to go to sign up. Helmetinitiative.org to learn more about that great organization, and patreon.com/backtoblading if you'd like to help contribute. All right, what should we do first? Why don't we do the little bit of housekeeping first? So got a lot to talk about with skates and my current setup. That will segue into how I do fit testing, which is the overarching topic of the day. I would like to answer everybody's questions. I think we'll answer the questions after the current setup and I talk a little bit about fit. It shouldn't take too long. I don't plan on being here too late tonight. I always say that, but my daughter has the flu. My wife is sick. I'm probably going to be sick. I'm not feeling super great tonight, but a little bit of bourbon helped me get over the hurdle so that I can get through with today. But I do plan on getting home so that I can get to bed. That's just the way that life is, burning the candle on both ends, trying to have a job and a life and a family and do Gear Talk. It is a difficult juggling act, but you are worth it, my friend. You are worth it. So let's do this. Let's do housekeeping. So I have a little bit of housekeeping today, but one thing that I forgot to mention last time that I wanted to mention, it was ready, but it just didn't get addressed. Have you seen this craziness? Blast from the past, right? So this hit the internet's probably early December, and I got myself one. This is a reissue of one of the classic Senate Assassin bags. I think it's called the Assassin bag. Senate Assassin bag. So back in the days, Senate was the biggest brand. Everybody knew Senate. Senate had everything. They had wheels, they had soft goods, they had backpacks, they had, you name it, combs, grind plates. And their backpacks were by far the most popular backpacks in all of rollerblading. Everybody had a Senate backpack. It was just the thing that people got. Now, there is a lot of fond memories of these Senate backpacks. These are the backpacks. They had a bunch of different models of it. This one, the Assassin, is probably the most popular, but they had a ton of different models that they came out with. There's a lot of nice nostalgia around these backpacks. And whenever you would see them come up on Blade Trade, people were, oh, you know, $90, whatever, you know, I want that backpack because I want it for, you know, my old memories and stuff like that. Turns out that some of the materials that were used for this backpack were still around. So I spoke with Gil over at Roller Warehouse when he dropped these, and I was like, where are you getting these bags? It's amazing that you have some of these backpacks. And he told me a little bit about this. Not all of it, but a little bit about it. It is 100% legit. So it is not somebody ripping off the Senate backpack. This is blessed by Mark Heineken. So it is a legit backpack. You can buy this backpack knowing that it is a legit Senate backpack. The webbing that they made, they had reels and reels of it. So it says Senate. You can kind of see that on Senate. So just making a backpack isn't enough. The fact that, oh, this is an easy one. It says it right here. You see. There's Senate. So just making a backpack isn't enough that looks like this. You have to have the actual things. And that Senate webbing, this little Senate patch on the side, they had a few hundred left of them. And they were just sitting in a warehouse. And Gil over at Roller Warehouse said, hey, can I make a few backpacks? Just use up the old stock. And they were like, yeah, sure. So they figured out how the finances were going to work. I don't understand that side of things, but he had the blessing to make some more backpacks, bring them back into the market. I think it's crazy that there's a Senate backpack out again. I'm not a huge fan of the design. I think it's a very dated 90s design, but I am maybe not the market. I think if you had this backpack when you were a kid, if you wanted a backpack that fits your skates really well, it's probably a really good backpack for you. There was a time when they were probably selling hundreds of bags a month, like thousands of bags, like so many backpacks because they were everywhere. I mean, you saw them on Friends, you saw them on Brink, you saw them on all of the videos, like this was the backpack. So if you were interested in this, full disclosure, they did send me this backpack so I could check it out. I'm not getting any money out of this, but I want to make sure that people know they are available at rollerwarehouse.com. They are legit, so it's not like Roller Warehouse is ripping people off or stealing from Senate or anything like that. Senate doesn't really exist anymore. But these are legit backpacks. If you wanted to pick yourself up a backpack, I don't know what the price is. Didn't even look at the listing. But they are available. There's a limited amount. I don't know that they'll be making them again. I think the reason that they were able to make them this time is because there was some materials left. If the materials are out, they're out. So as soon as the materials are gone, they won't be able to make them again. If you're interested in it, it is a very nostalgic bag. If you were a skater in the 90s and the early 2000s and you had a Senate backpack or you wanted a Senate backpack, now is your chance. Pick them up before they go. I don't know how many they made, maybe 100 or so, not a ton. But once they're gone, they're gone. Second thing, so talk a little bit about Omnis. So I haven't had a Omni shipment update in the last couple of days. I usually do my shipment updates on Fridays. I've bumped that to Mondays and Tuesdays because it's been on the boat and there's really no updates. So I haven't done any updates, but I'll give you a little bit of a, at least from what I know, where the status is of the skates. They have hit the port, so they come from the factory in China. They come across the ocean. This is for the US shops. They come across the ocean and they land in the port, either in Long Beach or LA. I don't know which port they're in. They have done that. They did that on Friday, I believe, maybe Thursday. Once they get to the port, they get unloaded, they go through customs, then they get processed, and then that container gets brought over to the local distribution center. Once that distribution center can break down that container and get all of the boxes sorted, they will drop those off at UPS. The UPS driver comes by and picks them up. And then they scan the UPS tag, and then as soon as they scan that tracking number, that's when we know that the skates are imminent. You know, a couple days for Intuition Skate Shop, Inline Warehouse, and Roller Warehouse on the West Coast. Yes, that's it on the West Coast. And then who else? Oak City over in North Carolina. Myself, of course, in North Carolina. And Carriers in Texas. I think that's everybody getting... I think that's everybody getting pre-order. So those are the places, if you've ordered, they will get their skates first. We are in that weird bubble zone right now where I know that the ship has docked and has unloaded, but I don't know if it's cleared customs. I don't know if it's gotten to the warehouse. I don't know if it's been unloaded at the warehouse. I don't know. All of this stuff takes time, and there's no tracking for that time. So bear with us. I hope that I will have a good update soon. I do have all of the tracking numbers, and I check them every morning to see if they've lit up. I have email notifications on, so when there is a status change, it should email me and let me know that they are on their way. I haven't seen anything yet, though. So apologies that they're taking longer than I had expected. I think this is a complicated time for shipping. Not only was it leaving around the Christmas time when the ports were very busy, I'm sure it took longer to get out than we had planned. But I'm sure that the ports are very busy right now trying to get all of these shipments in before any potential tariffs from China start hitting, which, knock on wood, we don't get hit with. We've got, another week and a half until anything could happen. So it damn well better clear customs by then. But that is the situation with the US-based shipments. Europe and UK, I got an update from the factory that they are being traveling on the train. They come from China to, I think they go to Belgium. Not sure where they're going actually in Europe. I don't want to say Belgium, I'm not sure for sure. But they go to a central area in Europe and then they get distributed from there. Very similar to us, but instead of a boat, they take a train from China across over to Europe. That is scheduled to land on the 19th. Today is the 8th, so we're talking about end of next week that you should have an update on the tracking for those shipments. Now, I was hoping that they would be there middle to late January. I was assuming that our skates, after everything was all said and done, would be here in early January. Obviously, I was wrong with that. It's going to be mid-January for us to get ours and maybe later January for Europe to get theirs. But the 19th, we should have a good update. Then the UPS local tracking and their local tracking in the UK should light up, and I should know more about when they're going to arrive. I will update the website, standardskate.co has all the information if you're interested. I will update that with all of the information as soon as I got it. But for now, that's all that I know. I would assume that Australia and New Zealand are on the same thing. Canada, I don't know. I should probably look into Canada. I have the tracking for them as well. I don't know how they're getting theirs. I don't know if they're getting a ship. Last time it was a ship that went to did it go to Montreal? Where the hell did it go? I don't know where the ship docked for Canada, but it would probably be the same timing as it is for us. But then it has to go from the West Coast because it's going to Montreal, solo inline in Montreal. So it takes a while for it to get from the West Coast all the way to Montreal, which is not East Coast, but it's further east. I'll see if I can get an update on that as well. It's kind of a weird, I don't have a ton of tracking. It doesn't have this Amazon or this USPS level of tracking information. It's kind of a black box, it left, and here's, when we expect it. And it's like, cool, all right, we'll just hang tight. I think we're actually on the same amount of time that we took for V1, but I stress because I want to get these things to people because I'm enjoying my V2s. I want everybody to enjoy their V2s. Anyway, if you've got questions, love to answer your questions. Send me a message, let me know. I will update the website when I've got information, but more than happy to chat with you if you just want to talk and see if there's any way that you can get your skates early. There isn't, but I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. All right, let's do some questions. So why don't we do some questions, and then I will get into my current setup, and I will talk about fit and all of our testing, and then we'll see if there have been any more questions, and then I will call it a day. Let me scroll all the way up. All right, first question from Jordan Skates. Picked up a set of the 90mm compass frames, ready roll frames for my upcoming Winter Clash trip. They look amazing. Thank you so much for the support. First of all, love the 90 millimeter frames. I am a huge fan of 90s. I'm riding them with a 1mm rocker. So I have the back and front wheel up, and I have the middle wheels out, which gives you a 1mm rocker. Oh, I have them right here. Do I have them like that? Am I a liar? I think that's the way they are. Oh no, you know what? I didn't. So this one is actually out and down. So I have this one out, and then this one down, this one down. This is a great setup. I love this setup. I have the Intuition Premiums in here. It's a V1 Omni, which is a little bit stiff. It's a lot stiffer. It's a stiffer boot. It fits me really nicely, and I'm able to do, all of my big wheel stuff that I like to do, which for me is just skating fast. I love doing slides. I love doing turns, controlled turns, things like that. You can see I'm getting really good wear on these wheels. Really breaking them in. I haven't been able to skate this as much as I would like, but having a great time with it. This is my right foot. So yeah, you can see a little bit of wear where I'm doing slides on the wheels. Love this setup. And yeah, the Compass 90s for me is probably the best, and obviously I'm biased, but probably the best 90 millimeter frame for people that don't need wizards. So if you know that you need a super responsive, super stiff frame so that you can do all of your edge work, then you need wizards. That's absolutely fine. Or something comparable, right? Some thick aluminum, dialed in frame. But if you just want to go out there and skate big wheels, it's a $80 frame, I think, $90 frame. I don't even know. $80? I think they're $80. And then they're $190 for a ready to roll, which includes all of the wheels and Compass Swiss bearings. So, I mean, it's a really great setup. I hope that you enjoy skating them. You are bringing them to Winter Clash. So I actually tested them at Winter Clash. So I had last year I brought them so that I could show them off and get some feedback. They were maybe 2 samples away from being in production. And I needed to get something from the hotel. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a pair of skates. And they were at the hotel, and there was a skater that we were going to give skates to, but they were going to come to the hotel, but they had to leave. So I was like, okay, I will go to the hotel. And I had my 90s on, put my 90s on, and I skated from Area 51 down to the hotel, which was in City Center, and back. And it was so much fun. It was a break before it started raining because it started to get to be a pretty rainy weekend. But that whole area in Eindhoven is an amazing spot for skating. Big wheels especially, because they have all of these bike paths. The whole city is just bike friendly, so you can go anywhere, and they've got bike paths and everything. Just make sure if you are skating on the bike path that you look both ways, you keep an eye out for bikes, because bikes have the right of way there. They will crash into you with no regard. And make sure that if you're not skating fast, stay over to the right, give them room. If you are going, I will be there as well. So we'll be at Winter Clash. We have a booth for standard. I will be at the booth showing off V2. We'll have some soft goods if you'd like to pick up some soft goods. Posters, pins, hats, stuff like that. Should be a really great show. I'm looking forward to it. I had a blast last year. Last year was V1 as our big introduction. This year I feel a little bit more comfortable, a little more maybe excited about showing people the skates, because I know that the skates are going to work for more people. So yeah, if you are in the area, would love to finally meet you. Come on out to the booth, and that goes for anybody. I'll be at the booth to meet you. That's the whole reason that I'm going. So definitely looking forward to Winter Clash and seeing everybody. It's 2-3 weeks? No, it's a month from now. Month and a week. I think I leave on the 13th. So I'm there on the 14th, 15th, fly back on the 16th maybe? Something like that. Anyway, very excited. Jacob, have the Omnis landed in the U.S. port yet? Yes, as I mentioned, yes, they're at the port, somewhere between the port and the distribution center, and getting handed off to UPS. So I don't have an update yet, but I do know that they are in that bucket of things that happen that don't have a lot of good, accurate tracking. Customs clearance can take a while. I remember back in the days we had a shipment that came in we were in California at the time, and we had a shipment that came into port, and it took 2 weeks from when it landed at port for us to actually get the goods. And we were right there. We were, I mean, within a 40-minute drive of the port. And it just took a while to get through customs because there were a lot of ships, there were a lot of boxes that were being delivered, containers that were being delivered, and each one has to go through customs. And it depends on how meticulous they are with customs checking at the time. Sometimes they're, on heightened alert and they want to check everything. Who knows? Like, it's the luck of the draw what we're going to get. So hopefully we get a speedy process, but it's Wednesday. I think they landed on Friday, so give them a couple of days to get off the container, off the ship, and then get the container to customs. You got to assume that they're going through customs now. So, or they're on their way to the warehouse. I mean, I could have the UPS pick up already. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, it shouldn't be long. And like I said, the West Coast shops will get them first. Then Carriers. Why did I say Sessions? Sessions was an old skate shop in San Francisco, I think, skateboard shop. Carriers in Texas, and then all of us on the East Coast. KRM, I am 40, 6'1", 330 pounds. I enjoy walks on the beach. I'm kidding. I threw in that walks on the beach thing. What would be a good skate to get back into it? Took the better part of 20 years off. You've come to the right place. So when I started back in, I was 40. I skated playing ice hockey. So I was fairly in shape. The muscles that you use while playing ice hockey are very similar to what you use when skating. You are 330 pounds though. So that was not my problem. Not that it's a problem, but you're going to be a bigger guy than I was. And with that, you're probably going to want a more supportive skate. I'm assuming that you want to do aggressive, but you didn't say. If you're still in the chat, I see you were in the chat. So if you're still in the chat, ask another question, give me a little bit more information about whether you want to do aggressive or whether you just want to get back into skating. But let's do both. So if you just want to get back into skating, best thing that you can do is just get yourself a dedicated set of skates. So I always recommend the FR1s. If you've got a little bit of money to play with. Oops, is it caught on my light? There it is. These are the FR1s. FR is not the wheel company from New York. FR is a offshoot of a brand called Seba. This is the Freeride brand. It is a completely different company. It is a huge mess that we need to talk about. But just know that the FR brand is a quality brand. They make really good skates. They are super supportive. You can see they have this 45-degree ratchet buckle. It is a plastic boot. It has a really nice liner that comes with it. And actually, this is a MyFit liner. It's an aftermarket liner. And solid buckles. This is a very supportive boot. I would go with something plastic. I would give myself as much ankle support as you can. Ratchet buckle, this buckle in the middle, it opens like this, and you can see it getting tighter and tighter. That will suck your foot into the shell, give you a lot more support. Because what you're going to want to do, since you're a bigger dude, you want to make sure that you don't twist your ankles, especially if you plan on doing any jumps or any stair rides or any sort of impact. You want to make sure that you've got a really structured, supportive skate. On the bottom, I'm riding the Endless frames. These are a really great frame, full disclosure. They did send them to me. I did not pay for these frames, but I absolutely love these frames. They are set up with a 3x110. They didn't really have these 20 years ago when you were skating, but if you are interested in just going around town, very fun setup. Big wheels means a lot of coast. So if you were thinking small wheels, skating aggressive, maybe even anti-rocker, and you're just kind of running on the skates and you can kind of coast, but you kind of lose your speed and you have to skate again. With this, you skate a few times, big wheels charge up all of that kinetic energy, and then you just kind of coast. So if what you want to do is cruise around town, get your legs back before you go to the skate park, try to do any grinds or anything like that, big wheels will be fun. The problem with big wheels, though, is that they are tall, which is kind of similar to a lady wearing, or a guy, I guess, wearing high heels. That takes a lot of balance. you know, the distance from your foot to the surface where you're walking on is going to be taller. So you've got a taller center of gravity than you need. 110 millimeter, pretty big wheel. Usually what they do is they do 80 millimeters with a free skate, or maybe 90 millimeters with a free skate. If you can find a setup like this with the FR is just the boot. You can get different frames, and they have a lot of different options with different frames that FR sells. I would get something with 80s or 90s. You want a wheelbase probably around 260. That is from the first wheel to the last wheel. The wheelbase will dictate how wiggly you are when you're skating. So a longer wheelbase is for skating straight. These bad boys are a trail skate. You can see this wheelbase is long as hell. So it goes from 1 to 3, first wheel to the last wheel. And you can imagine when you're skating this skate, trying to turn is super difficult, but the stability that you get when you skate straight, when you're just skating a trail or you're skating a track, is unparalleled. You're gonna have really nice stability, long strides, lots of pushing area. This is designed for that, but you don't want that. You want something a little bit shorter. You don't want to go too short though, because if you go too short, you're gonna feel like the elephant standing on the ball at the circus, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can't control yourself. Usually what you want is the front and the last to go around your toes and your heels. So this is probably around a 275. Does it say? Doesn't say, but does it? It fits 90s, so it's probably around a 275. This is a size 10.5 skate, probably where you would want to be. 270 is my favorite length. 260 is really good too. The difference is if the wheels stick out, sometimes when you do crossovers, you might clip your wheels. You know, you do crossover and you might clip your back wheel with your front wheel. That's not fun. Anyway, that is if you are doing big wheel skating. If you just want to get back into skating, anything from the FR brand, I highly recommend. Rollerblade makes some good skates as well. Powerslide makes some good skates as well. Those three brands probably, if you just stick to FR, Powerslide, or Rollerblade, you'll probably find a skate in your price range that works well. I would stick with 80 to 90 millimeter. I would make sure that the wheelbase is, I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know what size your foot is, but let's say that you are a size 10, you would probably go with a size 260, 270 wheelbase. You want to make sure that it's a little bit longer. Lines up to your toe and your heel. If you're after aggressive, bunch of great options for you now. It's really been a boom in plastic boots. There are soft boots out there. I don't recommend them for you. I don't recommend them for most people. I think a plastic shell is really the way to go. The only exception is if you had carbon. They make carbon skates now, which is cool, but it's a little bit more expensive, and just coming back into it, I definitely wouldn't recommend getting carbon skates. But a plastic skate, I make a skate. It's called the Omni. It's from a company called Standard. As you heard earlier, they are on the boat. They're on their way here. If you're looking for picking up a pair of skates this weekend, the Omni is out of contention. But it is a great skate. It is a plastic skate. It is UFS, so the frame is interchangeable with other UFS frames. It is a low ride. It is light, has a great sole plate, very comfy, about $300 complete. If you are looking for maybe a little saving of money, I think the USD Sway is a great option. This is kind of a spiritual successor to the USD Throne. They're what, $220, chat? I don't know, $230, something like that. Very inexpensive skate, but very high quality skate. You can get them in a bunch of different configurations and different sizes and different colorways. Different frames, again, it is fully UFS, so you can swap out the frames if you like. But that's the USD Sway. Highly recommend the USD Sway if you're just getting into it. What else? So the Them 909 is another great skate I cannot reach, but it is over there. Them is a skate company that was started by John Julio about 5 years ago. He is, probably somebody that you remember from back in the days, making a really great quality skates. One of the skates that a lot of the top skaters ride for, endorse, and skate even if they don't have a skate sponsor. Really great skate, similar pricing, $300, $350 or so, and you can find them on skate shops and everything else. And then I'd probably go with Razors, so you can get some Razors SLs. The Razor SL, probably my favorite Razors skate. Again, another plastic boot. These, I think they're around $230, $250. I might be wrong about that. It's been a while since I've looked at pricing on things. But you can always find a pair of Razors. Most skate shops carry them. Razor SL is the one that I would go with. It is a low profile ride. It is inexpensive, but a great design, fully UFS, so you can ride whatever frames you want. Key things to remember: you want a plastic boot. You want to try a few different skates on to make sure that they fit you right. Sizing is always an issue. Measure your foot in centimeters so that you know how long your foot is, and then figure out the length. Most skate companies have their internal lengths listed as well as their recommended lengths in centimeters, which is a lot easier than saying that you're a size 10, right? Liner technology has come a long way, so the liners that come in your skates might work, but then, hey, your skates don't feel good, they start hurting you, they give you blisters. It's probably not the skate, it's probably the liner. So you can always go to a skate shop and say, hey, can I swap out these liners? For $40 or so, you can get a new pair of liners that's going to be insanely good compared to anything that you used to have back in the days. And yeah, welcome to the obsession. Find yourself some skates. Don't spend a ton of money. Make sure you wear a helmet. Make sure you pad up. I always recommend wrist guards if you're out there. If you work on the computer or if you have a family to support, make sure that you protect yourself. Wrist guards are super important. Helmet, super important. And know your limits. Like John Pollard said, if you think you could do something, go for it. But if you can't, don't. Which always makes me laugh. But we are old now. We are still able to skate, but you got to take it easy. You got to stretch. You got to work out. You got to be smart about it. You got to listen to your body. Just don't push it. Seriously, it's not worth it. You want to skate for, it's a marathon. You don't want to kill yourself in one session. You want to skate the next week. Good luck and welcome back. As I always say, leave a comment in this video if you've got more questions. You're in the chat, so let me know. But would love to help you get your skates dialed. A lot of great skate shops out there can do the same thing that I can do. Give them a call, give them a message. They are experts at skating. They wouldn't be in this to make money. They would be in this because they love skating. So if you find a skate shop that you like, preferably one that's near you, reach out, send them a message and say, hey, I'm getting back into it. I want to learn more about skating. This weirdo old guy on YouTube told me that I should call you. Help. And they would love nothing more than to help get you dialed in and into a pair of skates that you're going to enjoy. Because ultimately, we all want you to skate. Like, we're doing this because we love skating and we want more people to skate. If we give you bad advice, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to have a good time. You're going to waste your money. You're going to say, I'm never going to do this again. That's not what we want. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you for watching, and good luck. All right, what else do we got? True Skate. Hey, Adam. So, Law, you're saying I should ditch my 50-50 bag and return to the golden days. You know what? I think you should buy both. I think you should buy every backpack that you see. There is a Murder Militia bag out there you should get. There's a new bag out there you should get. There's the new Mesmer bag you should get. There's a new ground control bag you should get. There's plenty of great backpacks out there. You got to try them all. I mean, you got to see which one works best for you. I think each bag can fit a different place in your life. For me, I love the Fitty Fitty Session bag for airplane travel. I will be using this on my trip to Winter Clash. It can fit everything that I need for a trip, including my laptop, little compartment for passport, for wallet, for, all that stuff. It is a modern design. It is not a big bag. It is not designed for a weekend. It is designed for a trip, for a session. So definitely, if that's what you're looking for a backpack, Fitty Fitty bag is a great bag. But if you want some nostalgia, if you want something that you just put your skates in, the old Senate Assassin is calling your name. Rob Kellett, I saw you and then it refreshed. Where did it go? Love the Conjure hoodie. Yes, sir. I was looking through. It is cold here. It is, I turn the heater off when I'm doing the show and it's in the 60s here in the warehouse. I was looking for a hoodie that I was going to wear, and I wore my Fitty Fitty hoodie last time. And I was like, what do I have? And I like wearing black so that you can't really see the microphone. And I was like, ooh, the Conjure hoodie. So bringing it back. I'll bring another one out next time. But definitely love the Conjure. I miss Rob and I miss what you guys were doing. It was a really magical time with everything that they were doing. What a crazy blip on the industry. Conjure came in, killed it, and then left. I'm out. Drop the mic. Adam, at least you beat the Chinese New Year. Yeah, man, that was scary. So last time with V1, we almost didn't get there. And for those who don't know, Chinese New Year isn't like the New Year, that we celebrate in the U.S. Chinese New Year is a celebration. It is a 3 to 4 week vacation for all of China. Like, people just close up shop, and all of the industries that we deal with, it's just a known thing. Last half of January, first half of February, there's nothing that's going to happen. We're able to contact our sales representatives, and if there's a problem or whatever, they can help us out, but they can't do any production because it's during the holiday. All the workers and employees, they go home to their families or they take the time off, and it's just a thing. Thankfully, we reached, we shipped beginning of December, so we never had a problem. But Chinese New Year is no joke. I always forget about it until beginning of January. I'm like, oh shit, I've got a week to finish this stuff up. We do have some samples that just made it under the wire. They're on their way now. But I think they close up shop. I think this is their last week. Maybe next week is their last week. But very much a skeleton crew right now at the factory, that's for sure. Matt C. Still an off-road setup mount up. Will an off-road setup mount to the new standard V2s? Okay, off-road, I don't know what that means. There are a few of those inflatable tire frames. I think there's a Kaiser one that's like a SUV, I think. They are inflatable. I have never tried them. I don't think you should skate 125s without a 45-degree strap. Like I was mentioning earlier, you need that ankle support. That's a really tall frame, which means a really high ride height, which means that you're going to need more support because that angle is going to be all messed up. Plastic boot works great. V2 is a little flexy. So V1 would be fine with a 45-degree strap, probably. V2, I think, might be a little flexy. I did see a guy doing, who has the V2s. I think he's in China. He got a pair of V2s and he's skating Wizard 90s with V2s and doing all of the flatland stuff. I think he put a 45-degree strap on. I don't know that that is possible without a 45-degree strap because the V2 is designed for aggressive. It is a more comfortable boot. It is a flexier boot. It's good for topside tricks. It's good for royales. It's good for skating for long periods of time without ankle pressure. Like, it is not a stiff boot like V1 was, or like most off-road skates probably are. I wouldn't do it. Your skates, you do you. But I wouldn't go above 90s with the Omni V2. I don't think that it's designed for that. But I would love to be proven wrong. 45-degree ratchet buckle, you can get those pretty cheap. Install it, try it on, see how it works, and report back. Let me know how it works for you. All right, is that everything? Looks like everything. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about my current setup. I got a lot to cover here. So as I mentioned just a bit ago, I am on the standard Omni V2. And I feel a sneeze coming, so I hope that I don't sneeze. But I'm on the standard Omni V2. So these are the new skates that we are waiting on. The factory shipped them in the beginning of December. They are making their way through customs and different ports so that they can get delivered to skate shops around the world, and then rollerbladers who love to rollerblade. The Omni V2 is a plastic boot. It has an internal heel shock absorber, which we have updated for V2 to include a stiffer version. So not just a squishy version that does shock absorption, but also a more performant, here comes the sneeze. I told you at the beginning, I don't know if this makes it into the final cut, but I told you at the beginning, my daughter has the flu, my wife is sick with something. I can guarantee that I have something going on. So I'm going to power through. And I don't feel like I have a fever. It is cold in the warehouse, and I think I would heat up if I did. But if I sneeze again, I apologize. And if you see any bubbles coming out of my nose, I apologize. So we have an internal shock absorber. We included a new stiffer shock absorber in the V2s. This allows you to skate a little bit more like a raised heel boot. A lot of people are used to a raised heel. They love that little bit of forward lean, the stiffness in the back, so that when they're doing jumps, they're already in an active pose. You can double up those shock absorbers, put the stiffer one on the bottom, put the squishy one on top. I skate them with just the squishy one. I don't like a big forward lean, but the beauty of the Omni and any flat sole boot is that the design allows you to adjust the ride however you want for however you like to skate. I'm skating them flat. These are the stock frames. These are the flat frames. I am skating them with a flat setup because I have injured myself and I'm trying to get myself back into shape. I skated them last week and I posted a video the weekend before, skating them at the warehouse. I am feeling great. My back is a little bit sore after each session. I don't know if that is an injury or if that is I'm just not used to skating. But I'm trying to skate once a week. I'm trying to get back into it. The stock wheels are 58 millimeter 90A. They are a nice round profile. This wheel is great for what I like to do, which is ledges, transition, little air to transition, stuff like that. I just love all around skating, and having a flat setup with this frame works really well for the way that I like to skate. It does come with anti-rocker wheels, so if you are an anti-rocker skater, you can skate them with anti-rocker wheels instead. Or you can get it boot only, not have the frame at all, bring your own frame, bring some Fitty Fitties or some Creates or some Wish frames or Kaiser frames or whatever you want. Or you can get them without the liner, so you can get them just with the shell, which is the shell and the sole plate. Bring your own liner, bring your own frame, save yourself some money, and dial it in however you like. If you've got liners that you like, if you've got frames that you like, I don't need to sell you mine. I want to get you into some Omni. Doesn't matter what liners you're using. I just want you in my skates. So I had a really great session. I've skated twice now. The first session was my first session back, and I took it really slow, but I had a really great time. It was my first session on the V2, so I'd skated the testing skates, which were a much flexier version of the V2. They were probably similar to some of the other flexi skates that you've had out on the market. Very similar material, I bet. These are a little bit stiffer than that. For me, that's the way that I like it. A little bit more stiffness, a little bit more support. Know that when I come off a grind, the skate's going to be there to keep me aligned. I don't have to overuse my ankles and potentially twist anything. I did run into one problem, and this is something that we checked with the factory, and it kind of goes to the whole why is Lawrence cutting a skate in half discussion. I started feeling like the skates were a little bit shorter than they should be. What I mean by that is after my session, I could feel a little bit of pressure on my toes. And I didn't really feel it during the session. But you know, when you take the skates off, you're like, you know, you've still got that kind of like a warm hug feeling, and then, you know, the areas that you were hugged kind of still feel the same. I started feeling that with my toes, and I kind of, not to get gross, but I get that sometimes when, you know, my toenails are a little longer than normal, or I wear thicker socks, like, you know, a couple millimeters here and there does make a difference. But none of that applied. So I was trying to figure out, well, what the heck is going on? Because I skated Omni V2 or V1s for a year. I know the Omni probably better than anybody because I've skated only the Omni for so long. Why would my foot have a little bit of pressure at the toe? So I took out the liner, and this is the liner. And I was like, well, we updated the liners. One of the things that we wanted to do with V1 was make a really nice stock liner that was, this is called our comfort liner, that was super comfortable for skaters. It fit well, it had heat molding, had a lot of padding, it had a neoprene toe, it had a drawstring so that you could really tighten up this lacing area and make it really feel good in the shell. And this was all based on, all of these V1 liner decisions were based on what we learned from other liners, but we'd never made a liner ourselves. And we learned a bunch by making that first liner. The first thing was, it doesn't really matter what the liner fits like on your foot. If you want to make a good skate, and you want to make a stock liner, the liner needs to fill out the shell. So I am 28.5 centimeters, my foot 25.5 centimeters. It's a normal D width, and it's a normal height. And the stock liners for V1 fit me great. But some people said that the liners were too skinny for them. And I have a friend who came over and is also similar size foot and skated the V1s as a large, and said that the liners were a little too tight. I tested and I gave him an extra large liner, and I said, well, why don't you try this? Try the extra large liner, see how that feels. Put the extra large liner in the large shell, and it fit him perfectly. And he was like, oh, this is a great liner. That is the feeling that we were hoping to get with V1. What I think we did with V1 is the liners, the V1 liners, they have a neoprene toe. And because of the neoprene toe, it's supposed to be a dual sizing, which means that this liner will fit a size 8 and a size 9 when the shell is a size 9. So you could fit two different sizes in the same shell. The problem is that that doesn't fit anybody well. It fits those 2 feet okay. What we wanted to do was make sure that the size 9 fit really well. And a size 8, you could wear a slightly bigger sock if you needed to. You could put another insole in there to lift your foot up, fill out a little bit of space, or, you know, you could get a different liner if you wanted to. What happened with V1 is the 8 is where this toe is. The 9 is where the end of the liner is. That was not good. So we've made changes with V2 to round off the toe, and we've made padding here instead of the neoprene. This way it fits the shell perfectly. So we thought. So we asked the factory to, like the swap that I had with the large to the extra large, we asked the factory to size up each of the liners so that the medium shell had the large liner in it. The small shell had the medium liner in it, and so on and so forth. That way it would fill the shell perfectly. And we got samples, and they did. And the extra small samples were the first ones that they got. They looked perfectly. They fit the shell perfectly. The tester skated the stock liners. Absolutely loved them. Same for the small. We tested the smalls. We had them at Blading Cup. They fit perfectly. That was enough for us to say, oh, great, you know, we're on the way. Like, this is going to work well. But then why was my toe hurting after my session? That didn't make any sense. It would break in, but it needs to feel fine out of the box. The reason was that with all of the modifications that they made to this liner, for some reason, these are the things that you learn when you finally get production. For some reason, the medium and the large skates didn't get the length that we asked for. So instead, the stock liners, the V2 liners that are in the medium and the large skates, are actually the same length as the medium and the large liners were for V1, which is not the way that it should be. The small is fine, the extra small is fine, even the extra large is fine, but the medium and the large are a little bit shorter than they should be. And how did I figure this out? Well, aside from trying it on, I took an Omni V1 and I cut it in half. That way I could see the inside of the Omni V1. Now this is a medium. Why did I do a medium? Well, I had a skater send me a message and say, hey, the liners on my medium feel a little tight and I feel like they're moving around in the shell. And I was like, that's weird. We didn't get any of that feedback through testing, but we only tested the smalls. So the mediums, we tried to get samples, but we didn't get samples in time. And they ended up using shorter liners in the mediums. Now, what are we going to do about that? So let me show you how, let me illustrate what's going on. This is a V1. This is a V1 medium liner. And as you can see, it fits well, but you can see it doesn't fully fit the toe, right? So this neoprene is where your toes would lift up and they would fill this shell. We also, for V2, we made this area a lot taller. So there's a lot more room for your foot to fill out inside the liner. But look at the back. So I push it to the toes and you can see there's like a whole centimeter of space back there. This is V1 with the V1 liner. And I was like, well, wait a second. We asked for V2 to fill out the shell, fully fill out the shell. This is a medium liner in the V2. And you can see the front fully fills out the shell, right? So this whole toe, beautiful, fits nicely in the shell. You can see the top, beautiful, fits the shell. Same issue in the back. They didn't fill out the back. So they didn't change the length of the medium. They didn't change the length of the large. And these are the liners that are in the boots. The large, this is the large V2. Same front, toe fits perfectly. Perfect in the back. So it is a perfect fit. This is the way that the small, the medium, or small, the extra small, and the extra large currently are. And this is the way that they should be. So what are they doing to help us fix this problem, right? They screwed up. What do they do? Well, two things. First of all, we are going to swap all of the large liners into the medium shells. So if you bought a medium with a comfort liner, you will be getting the large liner. We have new stickers that we're going to be replacing over here so that there's no sizing confusion. So the large liners are going to end up in the medium shell, which is the size that they should have. And you will get a medium shell with a proper fitting liner that should fit you perfectly. So that addresses the medium. The large liners, they are going to be making us brand new liners. So they will make a few hundred pair of liners to fix the problem with the large being too short. They're going to be sending those to shops directly. They're going to be sending them to me directly. They should have them after the Chinese New Year shutdown. So the warehouse factory is closed as soon as they get back, first week of February, I think. They already have the material ordered. It should be here. As soon as they get back, they're going to make those liners and then they're going to send them over to us. What does that mean to you? Well, if you ordered a large and you wanted a large with a liner, you might be waiting a little bit. I don't know the timing. Obviously, depends on when the skates get to people. We're talking about, I don't know, a few dozen pair of skates for the large that might not have the comfort liners at launch. Either we can wait and ship your skates when everything is ready, or you can get the shells and then we'll ship you the liners when they're ready, or we can credit you for the liners that you aren't going to get. We're going to make this right. Production sucks. Sometimes this happens, but the liner is an issue. I want to make sure that they fit perfectly, and skating the large and having it not be a perfect experience really frustrated me because everything else looked right, and then samples never showed up, and then production shows up and it's wrong. So they definitely, you know, to their credit, they're taking ownership of the issue, and they will be fixing it for us. But that does mean that the large liners might be a little bit longer, probably middle of February, if not late February, until we get the final large liners. So if this impacts you, if you're in that window where you are a size 10, 10 and a half, size 28.5, size 44, or a 43, you got a few options. You know, if you've already got liners, you can swap them in. We can send you extra large V1 liners that you can swap in so that you can go out there and skate. Then we'll send you the production liners when they're ready. You can just wait until the production liners are ready as well. But we will make it work. This is one of the beauties of being a small brand, trying to make it in the big city. Sometimes people screw up and we don't have a QA department that's over in China watching them do manufacturing. So it is what it is. Anyway, I like to be transparent with things. I don't want anybody to find something funky with their skates and then say, what the hell? In that spirit, we found something else with production. It always is some fun production findings. So we've been skating these V2s for a long time. I think we got the first samples, back at Winter Clash, so February. So we've been skating V2s in some form or fashion for a full year. We started skating the new material, the flexi material, in summer, and I think June. And we dialed in the final formula of our new material in July, maybe August. So we've been pretty locked in with what the skates should be like since August or so. One of the pieces of feedback that we got from our tester was that with the new material, there is more of a forward flex than the V1s have. And there is, obviously, it's going to be a more flexible material. We passed that feedback onto the factory and they said, got it, we'll do what we can. And we're like, I don't know what that means, but that's great. And they made some changes to the molds without us knowing it. Never sent us any samples so that we could confirm. Honestly, the samples that they sent us to Blading Cup were absolutely fine. We didn't have any issues with those. The sample that I got in my large, it's absolutely fine. Don't have any issues with those. But there are some skates out there. We first saw this with the extra small, and there might be other skates that are having this issue that are so... let me demonstrate. So normal skate. So this is an extra large. This is an extra large Omni V2. And the forward flex that I'm talking about, you can't really do that in a V1 because it's so stiff, it doesn't really flex. But forward flex I'm talking about is when the buckle or the cuff moves forward all the way, like it moves forward like you're crouching down to jump high. And then it, should pop back. There, like that. So you can see it flexes forward. This has had the modification. This is the extra large. If it doesn't have the modification, like this one, so this one doesn't have the modification, I will flex it forward. Ugh. Now, how often is that going to happen? Probably not often. But if it happens, you can see this back area back here. You see this? This is the problem. They've added material back here. So the original ones came to, do I have extra large back here? I don't. But, oh, I have my large. Let me show you what it's supposed to look like. So these are the larges, V2s, that don't have this enhancement that they've added. So this is my larges. I can't even keep it down, but you can see how low it is here, right? So this is like 20 centimeters, something like that. Look at how high that one is. You can even see, it's kind of hard to see, but you could see a little bit of polish on the mold where they made changes here. And you can't get it back down. The only way to get it back down is using like a screwdriver, taking your skates off using a screwdriver and pressing it in. Frustrating. So the fix. If you already have your skates, which you probably don't do, but maybe you're watching this in Asia and you already have your skates. The fix is, what you need to do is remove a little bit of this material. So I'm using wire cutters. All you need to do is cut down and then cut out a little bit of the material so that it can freely flex. And I'll show you how to do it. One cut and two cuts. This restores the design back to how we had it in V1, where it never caused a problem. Get this off. It's hard to do with no glasses and everything. There. All right, so now when it flexes, it's hard to flex, so a lot of people won't even see this, but there. So now it will flex fine. And you can always cut a little bit more. I might need to cut a little bit more on this side. It really should be just a little bit of space. And for some reason, they made it very tall, which is not the way to do it. There we get in there. It's hard to see without my glasses. I apologize. I'm sure this is making great video. There we go. All right. There. And now it's easy. Flexes forward, flexes back, flexes forward, flexes back. No big deal. If you already have your skates, that is the fix. Push your cuff all the way up, couple cuts, and you'll be back in business. If you don't already have your skates, if you are getting them from me, from Balance Distribution, we will be doing the modification before we ship them out. So you will never, again, I am all about transparency. I think a lot of the fun about doing skate projects is sharing the trials and tribulations of trying to do a skate project. It is hard to do. I always say samples are easy, production is hard. When the factory makes changes to your molds that you have purchased without telling you or sending you samples so that you can verify that that change is approved, and then they go into production without telling you, that's the sort of thing that we deal with. You gotta laugh, because what are you gonna do? If you bought them from me, we will be making this modification before we send out. And yes, it sucks. I have to go through and make this cut in every single pair of skates. But I don't want anybody to end up having a bad experience. Now, are you going to get stuck like that? Probably not. If you lean forward heavy, you might. I don't want anybody to get stuck like that. So I want to cut it out back to where it should be. We will be doing a modification for V3 to restore that normal size so that it doesn't have that problem and it won't get, it won't get stuck like that. But for now, I'm going to be making that modification to everybody's skates before they get them. If you are getting them from a shop, a lot of shops are more than willing to do the modification for you. I have no problem doing it for you if you need some help. If you go out there and the shop, say you go out there and you skate and it still gets stuck, let me know. I will find a way to get you a new pair of skates that has the modification done. I will get your skates back We will make this right. There's not a ton of skates going out to shops. A lot of shops already know how to do it and are more than happy to do it for you. A lot of skaters are happy to do it. It's really just a couple of cuts with some wire cutters. Super easy to do. It probably won't impact you in the first place, but if it does, since it has happened to a couple people already, I want to make sure that we address it before it becomes a thing. It's a really easy fix. It will be addressed in V3. It shouldn't impact you, but if it does, I will have a video up on the standard website on how to do the modification, and I'm more than happy to help you out with it as well. Just know that when the shops get their skates, some of them might have the mod, some might not. Skates from my balance distribution will all have the modification, so you won't even have to worry about it. So there's two things that we found with V2 that might cause some weirdness. The beauty, though, with V2, if you can indulge me, is that the skates are skating really well. Everybody who is out there absolutely loves the skates. They're grinding great. They feel great. You can skate the entire day if you wanted to with no pressure points and no issues. It is a huge improvement over V1. It is how we had dreamed V1 to be. So I am thrilled with the V2 launch. There's always going to be little hiccups that we run into with production. That's the nature of the game. But we're addressing everything that we find as we find it. The factory has been very helpful in making sure that things that we bring up are either addressed now, with the new liners and the sticker swap, or in V3 with mold modification. So we are going to continue listening to feedback. Let us know what you think about V2. Let us know how it works for you. If you run into any problems that I didn't address, or if you ran into problems and you need some help, please let us know. Really easy to find contact information, or you can always get in touch with me through Back to Blading. I want you to have a great V2 experience like we've been having. Summer was an amazing time, finally skating the skates that we had dreamed that we would be able to make. We want you to have that same experience, and I feel like we can get you there. Might need a little bit of tweaks, but let me know if I can help in any way. And as always, thank you for the support. I hope that the skates will be here soon. All right. Let's see. Is there any other questions? So it is 10:15. I think I'm doing pretty good on time. Let me scroll up and answer some more questions if there are any. Again, I am an open book. I try to do as much question answering as possible because I know that it's difficult to get some of these answers outside of, a nerdy gear guy. It's hard to find a skate shop that's knowledgeable, and I know that you've got questions you want to go out there and skate. So if there's anything I could do, let me know. Leave a comment in the video. I will go through and pull out some of the questions and see what I can do to answer some people's questions. Chris Pauly, scale of V1 to the V2 sample I skated. Where is the production V2 stiffness? So we can use durometers. If the V1 was 101, like an anti-rocker wheel, and the V2s that you tested were like an 85, these are like an 88. So it will be noticeably more supportive, but you shouldn't have any issues with pressure points or fit or anything like that. It is still way squishier. I mean, you can see these are the extra large. You can see my V2s. Just the squish alone compared to a V1, I mean, it's way different. With the V1, if your foot fit this, it's great, but like I can't even squish this. I always do the cuff test. Like you can't really open up the cuff. These you can open it completely. Like it is night and day, completely different skate. Stiffness wise, it's a little bit stiffer than the ones that you had. I would compare it from a 85A wheel to an 88A wheel. It's still going to give you some bounce. Still going to be soft and cushiony, but it's not going to wear as fast. It is really designed for what we do. I don't know what that super squishy material is for. There are other skates that use that super squishy material, and I think that's fine. Some people love having a squishy material for, rolling top sides basically, without bending your knees and just doing it all with your ankle. That's not my style. And I think, the actual production V2s are going to be right around where you want them to be. But, until we start getting more people out there, we won't know. And I will add that V2 isn't the end all be all. We're always tweaking around materials. It's one of the beauties of having this mold. We can change the material and really come out with a completely different skate and a completely different experience just by tweaking the hardness, tweaking the style of material, things like that. Should be soon. You should be able to get them so that you can try them on. Appreciate you testing them out for me, though. It was nice to see you skate them, and I know that you like a little bit more stiffness than those floppy boys. Go-to fashion. Have you ever tried to completely remove the paint from the bottom of the Omni's production model? I don't want to paint or tape if possible. I've never tried to take the paint off. Do I have one? I don't have any that, I guess I can use this. This whole bottom section is paint. I've never tried to take this off. I got to assume that some acetone would work. I don't know what kind of paint they used here. It is not like a vinyl paint. It doesn't scrape off easily. If you scratch it on a staircase or a ledge or something, obviously it's going to grind through, but it's a pretty well stuck in treatment. I don't see, if you want a full black skate and you want to remove the thing, painting over it is probably your best bet. But I would look for acetone. That's what I use to remove the printing on the frames. I don't know that it's the same material, the same paint compound that they use, but I would start with acetone, get some acetone. I would wear gloves when you're using it. Get a paper towel and just rub it on there and see if it works. After that, you get some paint thinner, but you're going to start getting into some pretty gnarly chemicals. If the acetone doesn't work, I would probably just skip it. I would also add, starting to use some chemicals to remove that paint. You might have some structural integrity issues with the plastic. So be cautious with what you put on there. I think acetone is fine though. Jordan, how does the liner swapping impact your listed size charts? It doesn't impact it at all. So the size charts are based on the best case scenario. The liners the medium and the large liners that were in there so if you were a size 9 and you were skating a medium Omni V2, using the medium Omni V2 with the production stock medium liner would feel more like a size 8. My feeling was skating the large with the stock large liner felt more like a 10 than a 10.5. The nice thing is that because the liner is a squishy material, it will break in. I am the sort that wants it to be perfect out of the box, and it should fill the length of the shell. So the length of the shell is where we do our sizing estimations. So a size 10.5 is the way that the liner should be if it fills out the shell. The size 9 is the length that the liner should be if it fills out the shell. If you need a size 8, you can always wear thicker socks. You could use, a second insole to raise your foot up in there. Or you could always swap out the liner. But I'm of the feeling that the stock liner should fill out the shell and should be designed specifically for that shell. And that's the way that the stock liners are and will be when we get the replacement large liners. The sizing is based around that. I hope that helps. Pouring Blue, hey, are the excess shock absorbers the same as the small shock absorbers? Yes. All of the shock absorbers are the same. There's two sizes, but they're the same height and the same material. The extra small, small, medium use the same shock absorber, and then the large, extra large use the same shock absorber. There's two materials. There's a 45A and there's a 60A. So a little bit more dense and more squishy. You can play around with the different shock absorbers to figure out which ones you like, but the height is always going to be the same. They're all 10 millimeters tall. Good question. Jahil, I think, Lamar, do you have the Yandril skates that are there? We can have another look at them. I don't. I'll go grab them. They're just around the corner. Let me go grab one. Hold on. I was trying to do like my my video. Oop, I kicked the camera. There. Trying to do like my video with I got new skates. These are the Yandis. Had them on the wall in the display. Everything that I talked about with the V2 black, same with the V2 Yandi. They are the same. Extra small, medium, extra small, small liners, and the extra large liners, perfectly fine. Large liners are going to be swapped with the medium liners. New large liners are going to be available in February to replace the large shells. Same two shock absorbers, but these ones, if you buy the complete, come with the Fitty Fitty frames and chroma wheels, come with the ABEC 9 bearings. Beautiful skates. Really love this. We just got the pins in, so every set of Yandi skates comes with an exclusive 2 enamel pins with a card. The card has a QR code on the back of it with a password that allows you to log into our website and get a special exclusive bunch of content. So we've got some videos, some photos, behind the scenes stuff, a look at some of the color theory that we went through to come up with this color, what initially the Yandi skate was going to look like when we first started talking about the skates. We've got a lot of cool stuff. Went through the old Dropbox and just said, what stuff is there that we can share? And we put that all on the website. I'm sending those pins out today. Not today, it's too late, tomorrow. I packed them up today, but I'm sending them out tomorrow. You'll have them in the box for every Yandi skate so that you can learn a little bit more about the history of the skate. But yeah, this is what they look like. Absolutely love them. I think Yandi's skating them with black soles, so each of the soles is replaceable. You can skate black soles. We also have tan soles that match this frame. So you could do the tan with the tan with the tan. Really love the way we coordinated all these colors. It really came out really nice. They're on the same shipment, so if you wanted to pick them up, shop should be getting them next week. I should be getting them the following week. The Europe shop should be getting them probably end of January. Australia probably beginning of February realistically. Canada probably end of January as well. We'll see. I don't know how long things take in Canada, but I would assume that they'd get them around the same time as I would. I'm on the East Coast in the U.S. I would bet that maybe a week later to get to them, but shouldn't be much longer. Razor and shear. If I were to come to the warehouse and get a pair of V2s that needed modded, would I be able to get a vasectomy included? I mean, you can ask. I probably don't have the courage to perform that sort of modification. I can definitely sort you out with your skates, and if you need to swap your bearings, I can do that. I do have a good guy here in North Carolina. It's been 10 years, so he might not be practicing anymore, but I could get you a referral if you were in town and you wanted to see somebody about that. I highly encourage it, by the way, for all the dudes out there. It is the least we can do as a man to get yourself fixed after you have your allotment of children, your partner going through what they went through, getting yourself snipped, really not the big deal. You know, it was a couple days of pain, couple weeks of discomfort, and then a couple months of something is still weird, but it's okay. And I'm fine. So definitely recommended. Help control the pet population, as Bob Barker used to say, my dad. Yes, I don't think I'll be the one practicing on you, but please, get yourself sorted out. What else do we got? Pablos. Hey, Pablos. The new Icon Act 10 has a plastic bridge between the two inner fins, bottom half of the boot, to reduce flex, designed so it can be cut and customized for more flex. Very cool. I have not seen that. I have seen the skates. When I was at Blading Cup, they had them. It was really nice to see Matthias and show off the new stuff that he's been working on. I've not seen them in person being skated. Briefly, I'm sure I've seen them, but just going past me, I didn't really pick up on it. Another thing that I didn't really think about, that forward flex and how much adjustment you need back there. I think there is potential to play with that. The problem is you shouldn't play with it in production, right? When we approve a product, it should just be the way that it is. And if you change something, you got to stop things, send it to us and say, what do you think? And then we say yes or no. And if it's a no, you got to fix it. And unfortunately, the cart got before the horse, and that's what happens sometimes. But yeah, I love the idea. Again, this is where I'm at with skating technology. I feel like I've done so much with frames, so much with wheels. There's so much more to explore with skates. And materials are our first thing. We built a skate. We are very proud of V1, but we knew there was a lot of skaters out there that didn't get a chance to skate it because there was some fit issues. How can we fix that? Well, let's tackle liners. Let's tackle materials. Let's tackle process so that the production process is better. All of these little tweaks between each release, we're going to keep improving. And flex is one of them, not just lateral flex, but forward flex as well. Something that I haven't really discussed, but didn't even consider. But now that we've had this issue, how can I use this to work for me? What's the quote? I don't remember what it is. How can I use this something to work for me? I can't remember. But there's got to be a way that we can introduce more or less forward flex. So I'm looking into it. Right now I just want to get it so that it doesn't catch, because that's not a good experience. Going to a session, having to take your skate off and then banging it back into place, nobody wants to do that. That's just unacceptable. So thank you, though. Al Delega, hey, any plans yet for standard team trips demos this year? Yes. So I can say that Brian is... Where's Brian? Luke is coming to Winter Clash with me. Brian was going to, but he wasn't able to. So Luke will be at Winter Clash with me. We are going to be there the first weekend of February. We hope to do we will do Crowder. So if you are planning on coming out to Crowder, I think it's in April or beginning of May. Crowder is the event that we have here in Raleigh. I hope to have the whole team out here for that. So if you are interested, please come on out. Obviously, we will have the team in town for a little bit, and they'll go skate some local spots and get an edit like they did in California. So that's a lot of fun. We hope to do the Blading Cup feast thing. I don't know all the details on that yet, but there is that event happening in Feast which is in France, I think. Marceline, I don't really know where it is. But it's happening in Europe in summer. I think Yandi wants to go to that. I'm sure Luke wants to go to that. So we'll probably get all the team out there for that. We'll see. And then we have a couple tours planned for spring, summer that we haven't talked about yet. But TBD on that. Very excited, though. One of the luxuries that we have and the expectations that we have as a skate company is that I got to be at events. You know, we need to have a booth. We need to represent. We need to help support the industry. We need to support the community. And a lot of that comes out of the edits that we produce. So we plan on doing an edit every quarter. Obviously, there will be reels and clips that get posted, from the guys from time to time. But we would love to do an edit every quarter on the level of Fever Dream, on the level of the team video that we did. And then for every, pro skate or signature skate, we will do an edit for that. So 4 or 5 edits a year is the goal. Tours to help with that, and getting out to as many competitions and events as possible. If you have an event, it's a good segue into this, let us know. We are trying to get our calendar booked for summer. And if there's something that you would love one of the team riders to attend, let us know. We want to support. We want to get more skates on people's feet, to be completely honest. It's hard to get people to try out your stuff. So for us sponsoring events, if we can have a booth, if we can have one of the skaters bring out some skates so that people can try them on, that helps with people getting in our skates. And we can support your event. We can support your community. Your community can learn more about what we do. That's a really good relationship, and we want to invest heavy into that. So let us know. You know how to get a hold of me, or you can find it on the Balance Distribution website. Always interested in sponsoring events. Don't necessarily sponsor every event, but I want to hear from you. And if the schedule works out, and if the location works out, and if the location is something that we can get people to, we will. Great question, Al. It's great to have you around. All right. Jarrell, thanks. They look really good. I ordered the shell only and going to use Yandi's green frames. Yes. Thank you for the support. Yandi's V1 green frames actually look really good on the brown. I think we just got really lucky with the earth tones, and I think all earth tones kind of go really well together. So make sure that you tag us in it so that we can take a look at that setup when you get them in. Shouldn't be much longer. Chris Pauly, how many skaters in the greater Austin area are skating V2 right now? 0. 0 that I know of. There are some that have painted their V1s to look like V2s, but there's only 5 pair of V2 in the U.S., production V2 in the U.S., and I have 3 of them in the warehouse. The other is with Luke, and the other was with Yandi. We got some V2 samples sent to Blading Cup, and those are the ones that Yandi was on, the black ones that Yandi was on, that Luke was on and Brian was on, as well as we have an extra small that came in that we had. Did I get an extra small? No, that's the only one. So I don't know. I don't think I have a production extra small. I have the samples, the last sample, the extra small. So yeah, anything that you see with a V2, I don't think there's any that are actual V2s in the US yet, unless they ordered from Asia, which Center Ramp or Zero Type or Lava Skate or Wheel Love, they should all have their skates now. So if you are jonesing to get yourself some V2s, please support those shops. Great shops. Love the Asia community. The skaters there are amazing. We sponsored Juwon in Korea and Aoi in Japan, 2 amazing skaters, all young guys, I will add. It's amazing to see the youth in that area, we want to invest heavy in that. So the more support that we can give to their shops and follows on the Instagram, and the more that we can do to help spread the word about how amazing those skaters are, the better for the community. Leon, hey Leon. I saw Lino's review of the suspension frames with standard skates. Always have to see my products and yours together. Hope to see you again in winter class. Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to seeing you again. I hope we can spend a little bit more time and talk. It's been a while, and let me know. Text me later if you need me to bring anything. I know that you're always interested in what I'm working on, but if you need anything, just let me know. I'll smuggle them in my suitcase. Daniel, will you be doing an open house when you have the V2s in hand? Absolutely. So I'm planning on doing open houses every Saturday as soon as the V2s land. And the reason is I want to have people come by and try them on. We've got sample skates here. I have sample skates here that people can skate actually. But I won't have an open house this weekend because it's going to be snowing. But we'll probably have an open house. I'm burping again. We'll probably have an open house next weekend if you're interested. I try to post those on the Balanced Distribution Instagram when we're having open houses. Starting in February after Winter Clash, so say March, we will have open houses every Saturday. So that will be my thing. Every Saturday from 10 to 2, we will have an open house. Come on by, skate the skates, try them on, pick up some wheels, pick up some bearings, whatever you need, soft goods. Skate the skates, skate your skates, skate our mini ramp and our boxes, and have fun. I want to be that resource in the triangle, which is the Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Cary area of North Carolina. I want to be that resource that people can come to if they need their skates fixed, if they have questions about anything, if they want to meet up with their friends, get warmed up before hitting the streets or hitting a skate park. We have an amazing facility here, and there's no reason why we can't open up our doors to the local community. So stay tuned. Balanced Distribution on the Instagram for all the information on the open houses. All right. I think I am good. Let me check out of curiosity. 0 dropped streams, y'all. 0 dropped streams. So I don't know what I did, but it seems to have worked. Beautiful stream. I did record though, so I will probably upload and have the full recording for actual, and I'll compare the quality and see if it's a quality boost. But yeah, if this was good, let me know. I'm not stressed today. 10:45. I've been going for an hour and 45 minutes with no dropped frames, so that is a really good feeling. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed the transparency that I bring. We do things a little different here at Standard. I don't like to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I am a skater. I am also a customer. I'm not only the president, but I'm also a client. It is important to me that the products that I sell represent what I expect the products to hold up to. If they don't perform like they should perform, I don't want to sell them. And if we have pulled products before, we've replaced products before, if we find something that we can fix, we'll fix it. And I'm really proud of the skates. I think they're amazing. It's frustrating when things happen, but I am committed to listening and making them better with every revision and every release. So thank you all so much for the support. I really mean it. It's been an amazing couple of months since announcing the V2. We announced it, second week of October, so about 3 months now. We were hoping that it would only be 2 months, but sometimes things happen. Next time will be quicker. Next time we'll be announcing closer to the end of production, because we can bankroll a little bit more into the production and not have to get pre-orders as early. But yes, Very happy with V2. Can't wait for you guys to get them. Shouldn't be long now, a couple more weeks. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Leave a comment, send me a message, whatever. Happy to help, happy to get you dialed in on your skate setups. I want to make sure that every time you go out there and skate, you have a great time. You can't blame the equipment. You can only blame yourself. I should be back in another 2 weeks. I'm doing pretty good with this timing, and by then, maybe I'll have the full shipment in, and I can show you all of the production. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.